I know I have a smaller red paintbrush. I do, there it is. Okay. Hello everyone. So while I'm painting, I have my dog sleeping behind me, so if you hear sighing or snoring, it's him. Okay, so the other day I did a painting where I kind of did, they kind of look like lavenders, but I ended up doing like a really interesting background with some dark purples and some blues and some greens. And I did, I've only just started doing it, where you score lines into the paper, and I thought I could do something with that because I love how it looked. So, I want my paintbrush. Okay, how am I going to start this? Okay, I'm going to start with sap green, but I'm going to probably water it down because I just need a bit of a wash to start out. Bit of gambo shoe. Look at my poor gambo shoe, if you can see it. Let me check. You can. Look at my poor gambo shoe, and it's quite new, but I use it a lot, so mix these two together a little bit. And just start putting down colour. Bit of indigo. So the fence have masking fluid on them, which is why none of the watercolour is going on them. I don't always use masking fluid, sometimes I just paint around them, but I wanted to do masking fluid today. Let's pull this up. Might add a bit of gambo shoe into this corner as well. I'm going to add some burnt umber. Just drop it in at the bottom. Probably going to make that into my soil. That looks weird right now. More gambo shoe. That was a bit too much gambo shoe. Turn that a little bit. I can hear him. I don't know if you can, but I can hear Maya, my dog, snoring. So I'm going to start using the really darker colours now. So I'm grabbing indigo first, and I'm going to put that at the top. I'm going to grab a bit of indigo, but I'm going to get the Diox Violet. I think that's how you say it, because this one's mauve, that's Diox Violet, that's Intense Blue. Just, oh, I might need to add a bit more indigo. Down, put it down. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding some gambo shoe and a bit of sap green to kind of meet up with the purple and blue that I've put down and try and get them to blend a little bit so I can get a blurry effect, just like that. I like how that looks. So it's just a bit of interest. I have a plan, so I'm going to do some grass at the front with some flowers, and then probably going to do some scoring up here to maybe do a little bit of indicate maybe trees. down, pull this down. I'm liking how it's looking so far. Try not to overwork it, which is a big vice of mine. I can still hear my dog snoring. I always wonder what dogs dream about. Probably food. Probably food. Okay, probably just drop in one last layer of the blue and stuff and the purple. I'm going to let that dry. Just doing that last little bit of trying to get them to blend and mix into each other a bit more. Okay, so I'm going to pause that there and we'll come back and see what I can work with. Okay, so I've left it for a little bit. It's not completely dry and it might still be a bit too wet to do score shapes in the background, but I love how the background looks as it is. So I do know I want grass and flowers and plants at the bottom, so I might actually score the paper when I do them. So change of plan, but still got scoring going on. So I'm probably going to grab a smaller brush. It's a detail brush. It's not the smallest that I have, but it will do. Let's get some sap green. Mix a bit with indigo. Oops, oh, that's a bit too much. Bit of gamboge. I want a dark green, darker than that, but not so dark that I can't add darker bits of grass on top of it. Just doing some flicking up motion. So my plan is to make it really overcrowded in plants and grass, so it pretty much goes up to the fence. Bit of indigo to this mix. So this is very wet and wet, which is fine. So where it's drier, the strands will stay detailed. Where it's wetter, they'll spread out, and then I can go over the top and it's all loose and fun and free. So I like working like that. Now obviously I was just realising, because I have masking fluid, if I want the grass to go over the actual fences themselves, I'm probably going to have to do that once I remove the masking fluid, because obviously it's going to resist putting grass on the to try and cover the fence. Just going to mix that indigo and the purple just to make it really dark, and I'm just going to kind of blot it into the bottom here. So I've got a bit of darker bit of grass at the bottom where the brown peeks through. So this bit here is really wet, so I haven't got a really definite shapes of grass. I'm probably going to have to wait for that to dry a little bit. Maybe I can very gently dab this out, because that's going to dry with a pool on it. and then if I let it dry, I can easily, let me see if I can. Ooh, okay. I kind of encourage it a little bit, just to, not too much, but to spread out a little bit. There's a plane going over, if you can hear that. Just kind of make it a bit lighter by doing this, mixing it with the background. Then when it dries, I can do a grass layer on top of it. I might pull some of this and use it over here. Okay, so I'll let that dry and then see what I can do with this bit here. Okay, it's alright, I've come back because I've just realised I don't want it to dry because I wanted to score grass into it, didn't I? That was the whole point. That was the whole idea. Okay, so I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people use like old credit cards or some kind of club card where they're a member of something. I don't have any cards that I'm not using. So the other day I used a plastic end of like a folder that holds paper in, but it's very obnoxious to try and use if I'm doing a video. So I wanted to see if this works. It's a bit of broken coat hanger. I don't know if it scores, I use it. Oh, so also here when I added that, you'll see, because I rewrote this, I do have a bit of a bloom and a cauliflower going on. Right, so let's see if this will work. Please work. Oh, I just broke it. That's fine, I'll just use this piece. No, I won't, I'll drop it. No, I've got it. There we go. Okay, let's try this again. So let's see if it's sharp enough to score. Ah, it is. Brilliant. Oh. So I've been really having fun with doing this the last couple of days. I've always known about this technique, but I've always been too nervous because it's scratching the paper. Once you've put it down, it's there for, you know, forever. It's literally a scratch in the paper, so you can't unscratch it. I love how it works for doing grass strands. So I wish I'd used it sooner, but better late than never. And then sometimes you'll notice, if I try and point it out, so this bit's obviously white, where the score is taking the watercolour as well as the top surface of paper. And then these bits here is where a bit of the watercolour is pulled back into the score, so it looks like it's a darker strand. And it's such a fun technique to do. Although I have to admit, I'm still being a little bit gentle because this paper is 160 GSM, so it can take a bit of hammering, but not as much as 200. Okay, so here's what I wanted to do. Now, how am I going to? I'm going to cover the top half a little bit, although the splatters probably will still get through. Oops. I'm using this to hold down the piece of paper. Oh, no, I'm not. Stop. Thank you. Anyway, as I was saying, I wanted to get some Diox Violet again. And this is going to be for splattering the flowers. Oh, hang on. That's actually too small of a brush. If I want them to be a bit bigger. Okay, so I don't want to, I'm trying to be careful, I don't want to overcrowd it because I don't want to ruin the scoring that I've done, and because I'm happy with how it turned out, so I don't want to cover it too much. Let's remove this. Ooh, oh, bye paintbrush, see you later. Okay, here we go. Let's have a... Okay, so what I might do is, because I don't want to completely spontaneously keep adding random ones, I'm also going to dot in a few myself. Some, maybe just some bigger ones. That's kind of sweet. Now, do I want to add any different colours? No. No, I don't want to overcrowd it. Well, I want it to be wildflowers, so overcrowding is not the right word, but maybe more of a white Posca pen to just dot in a few shines and highlights, maybe. Because like I said, because I did masking fluid for the fence, it's probably going to look a bit strange when I remove it, because obviously I'm probably going to have to do another layer of splattering to cover the fact that some of the grass strands won't have gone on the fence because of the masking fluid. Right, so I'm going to leave that to dry and we'll come back for the big reveal and then see what we can do from there. Just a little close-up of the painting so far. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So let's moment of truth and take off the masking fluid and see how this has worked. Ooh. I forgot that it would shake my table. Not too bad. It does look a little bit strange. It looks like they're sitting on top of the strands, and obviously you'll notice a bit of purple did smudge on the fence, but I can still work with this. Okay, yeah, that does look a bit odd. Sorry for the shaking of the table. How's that looking? It's alright, I can fix this. I can fix this. So all I'm going to do is get some sap green, some Gamboshoo, mix it up a little bit, and basically do some strands, but kind of just see if I can put them over top of, put them at the bottom over the top of the fences and try and do it so they don't look too strange. So I'm using a thin detail brush for this. It kind of works. I should have thought about it before I did the masking fluid and how I wanted the bottom of the fence posts to look, but here we are. Bit of a darker green, activate that dark purple. Okay, that kind of works. So let's get a bit of that purple. Just maybe dot a few more new purple flowers on the grass that I put over the fences. I'm not going to splatter them because I want a bit more control over these ones. I don't know if you can hear my dog sighing in the background. There we go. Okay, so that's a bit better. Now there is one thing I want to do, but it might be a bit of a risk. If I get a very light blue in the purple, a bit of indigo, and make it very light, a light wash, can I add a little tiny, and I mean tiny, shadow to the fence posts. Oops. And I really do mean tiny, just a little bit of a wash. Just to make them look less bright, make them look a bit more natural. Oops, oh dear. Now we have a purple fence now. To see if I can fix this. Hey, that'll do. That's all right. These things happen. There, that looks a bit more natural to me. So with my white Posca pen, I'm just going to do little dots to maybe mimic some different flowers or just a bit of colour, a bit of interest. I'm about to say colour, I mean white. I don't know if you can call white colourful, but I'm just going to be sparing about this. Okay, I think that's probably finished. I think anything else done to it will be overworking it, and I like how it looks as it is. So now I guess the next test is the tape, which I'm very worried about. But we shall see. Let's hope for the best. We're doing okay so far. Ooh. So it has teared a little bit. It hasn't actually teared as in showing up, but you can see on the sellotape, on the tape, it's just pulled up the first layer, which is fine as long as it doesn't rip my painting, because I'm happy with this painting. And if tape is going to if tape is going to rip a painting, I always seem to find that it's on a favourite, on a painting that I'm really happy with. It seems to have some sort of weird sense. Okay, so we did it. We successfully got the tape off without any ripping. So I'm very happy about that. And here is the finished painting. I think it turned out really cute. I really do love the scoring the paper. And who thought a broken coat hanger did the strands in the grass? So I enjoyed that technique. I'm definitely going to be using it a lot more now that I know how it works. So thank you all so much for watching. Please leave me a comment. Feel free to join my channel if you want to see more stuff like this. Bye!